Developed secretly in substitute for the heavy artillery denied them under the Versailles Treaty, the German army investment in multi-barrel rocket mortars was to provide them with a weapon of great utility in the Second World War. In first employment, it was realised that they were a weapon of psychological as well as destructive impact. The first type to see service in 1941 was the 150mm Werfer, 6 mortar tubes mounted on a Pak-38 chassis, ripple-fired every 2 seconds. The larger, heavier 280 and 300mm rockets introduced in 1942 were also rippled-fired in 6s, but from a wheeled, open-framed, heavy-duty launcher. The heaviest rocket also appeared in 1941 and utilised a crate-like launcher mounted on the ground and raised up to fire. These 320mm Werfers with incendiary warheads are being used for bombardment in the Warsaw Uprising. The real measure of the importance of these weapons to the German army can be seen in the growth of Werfer troops from 2,000 officers and men in 1939 to 135,000 in 1945. Such growth mirrors the effectiveness of these weapons. A battery of 6 150mm launchers could let fly a salvo of 36 rockets in 10 seconds, with the second following just a minute later. As the war progressed, Werfers were massed in large numbers. A mixed brigade with 384 150mm barrels and 325 210mm barrels could saturate a target area with 6 tons of warheads in 5 seconds, repeating the process just a minute later. Conventional artillery needed 81 batteries of guns to achieve the same effect. The explosive impact of these weapons was also matched by the concussive effect. Werfers were not without their limitations, however. Their employment so close to the front line drew heavy enemy fire down upon them, and losses among Werfer troops were high. Werfer batteries were vulnerable before and after a launch. Film from Normandy shows how a battery once towed to its firing position by half-tracks then took some time to prepare to launch. Once loaded and fired, the flame and smoke trails left by the rockets marked out the position for eagle-eyed forward artillery observers. In Normandy, British counter-battery fire was very quick. Often Werfer crews were caught in artillery strikes as they packed up to move off to a new site. While the effect of these weapons could not be denied, the German army recognised the need to confer greater mobility on Werfer units to increase their effectiveness.